Everyone likes to talk about the white sandy beaches and no state income tax, but rarely do you hear people talking about what actually surprises people that relocate here to the Florida Gulf Coast. Now, some of that is financial, some of it is lifestyle, and some of it can actually change the way that you purchase your house. Folks, my name is Brant. I'm a local here, right here in Pensacola, Florida. I've been a homeowner here since 2015. I've also been a relocation specialist for the last 7 years. And I want to talk to you today about relocating or retiring right here along the Florida Gulf Coast. I'm going to go get out of this wind and walk one of these trails over here because it's blowing probably 20 to 25. Video will be more peaceful over here. That is much better. It's kind of violent out there today. I'm at Fort Pickens. There's all kind of walking trails through the woods here. We're blocked by the wind. Now, I want to talk about the first thing which is insurance. And insurance, in my professional opinion, is actually more psychological than it is financial. You see all these big scary headlines talking about how Florida is in an insurance crisis and blah, blah, blah. Well, listen, I sold last year in 2025 right at $10 million in real estate to buyers moving to the state of Florida. Okay, out of the 10 million that I sold, the highest insurance premium that I saw was $9,000, and that was for a waterfront property well over $1 million. Now, my average sold price was around $425,000. Most of the buyers moving into Florida were buying $425,000 homes, and the average insurance premium was around $4,200 a year. As a homeowner here in Pensacola as well, now I own a 2-story house in the city, and it's an old home. Kind of an insurance nightmare. I pay $5,500 a year for homeowners insurance, okay? Now, what do I mean by psychological versus financial? Most of the issues I'm seeing are the big scary letters that you get telling you that your premium's going up. I've seen clients get letters telling them they have to replace their roof or their insurance is dropping them. That's more rare, but if you purchase a home with a roof over 15 years, there is a chance of that happening. I have seen that happen, okay? So be mindful of that when you're buying your house. We gotta buy smart. I mean, that's simple as that. I hate getting letters from my insurance company in the mail. It's just like, there is an emotional aspect to that, and I think that is a bigger issue than the financial, because okay, I pay $5,500 a year. That hasn't really gone up much. It is what it is. I pay $5,500 a year and then I move on with my life. So that's pretty much insurance, folks. You're gonna pay somewhere between $2,500 a year and probably $6,000 a year for your insurance premium. You're gonna receive scary letters, but nothing's really gonna happen. All right, that is my experience from living down here. Which brings me to the next thing. Let's talk about taxes. All right, this is something that you really do need to know. If you purchase a home down here, especially if you purchase a home that the current owner, the seller, bought pre-pandemic, your tax bill is going to be a whole lot more than what that current seller is paying. You're not automatically grandfathered in to what the current seller is paying. Odds are the house you're purchasing is going to be quite a bit more expensive than what the seller purchased it for, so the assessed value of that house is going to be quite a bit more. Now, here's what you can do to combat that. Here in the state of Florida, we have something called homestead exemption, and you're going to want to file for that once you purchase your house. What that does is just keeps your tax bill from jumping through the roof every year. It kind of keeps it just steady and stable. It can't go up past a certain amount. So you're definitely going to want to file for homeowners exemption. That is very, very important. The next thing I want to talk about is storm fatigue. And I guess I finally found the right trail here. Pretty cool little place here. I love walking through the dunes here at Fort Pickens. It's a really cool place, especially when it's windy and nasty out on the beach. Storm fatigue. This, again, folks, storms are more psychological than they are real life, okay? So I've lived here on the coast for 41 years. We've had 2 direct hits with hurricanes, with big hurricanes. That's Ivan. I think Ivan was in 04 or 05. I can't remember. Sally was in 2020. Sally was a flooding hurricane and Ivan was a wind hurricane, and Ivan took off a lot of roofs, all right? Everybody had a blue tarp over their roof. But what this shows you is in the last 41 21 years, just right here in my area, Pensacola, we've had 2 direct hits. So the odds of you actually having a direct hit aren't that great, but the emotional stress is, in my opinion, is the worst part of these storms. It's like you're glued to the TV, you're watching what's gonna happen, You're trying to prepare, making sure you're making the right decisions, making sure your generators work, and making sure everything on your house is working properly, and then the storm doesn't even hit you. That's what I mean by storm fatigue. You're gonna spend a lot of time and energy, especially if you just moved down here, hyper focused on the news during storm season. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is healthcare. If you're moving down here to retire or to, especially to retire, make sure that you're semi-close to a city in order to get proper healthcare. So like here in Pensacola, we have great healthcare. That's one reason that a lot of people that are retiring here to Florida do move close to Pensacola because of the quality healthcare here in Pensacola. The issue is a lot of these coastal towns that are way away from the cities do not have a major hospital system. So that's something to be mindful of. And there are some great little coastal towns way away from the city. I'm walking backwards because the wind is just howling and it's just blowing today. All right, but you want to make sure and be semi-close to those major hospital systems. Another thing I want to talk about is seasonal traffic shocks. And I'm not talking about traffic on the road. I'm talking about the reason that you moved down here. You moved down here to enjoy your favorite beaches, your favorite restaurants. You moved down here to enjoy retirement life. Well, 5 months out of the year, folks, it is going to be a lot harder to access your favorite spots as a local than it is the rest of the year. Let me give you an example. My favorite restaurant on the beach is Grand Marlin. My wife and I love Grand Marlin. We go there probably once a month. However, during tourist season, which is that 5-month period from April to August, if you don't book Grand Marlin 2 to 3 weeks in advance, especially for dinner, you're not getting it. And so it's really, really important. And that holds true with anything that you moved down here that you love. If you want to go to Pensacola Beach Fishing Pier, Navarre Beach Fishing Pier, Gulf Shores Fishing Pier, you're going to be shoulder to shoulder with people out there fishing. You want to go to the beach, it's going to be much harder finding a parking spot, so you're going to have to leave a lot earlier. That being said, one of the most amazing things about living down here full-time is the fall. I absolutely love September, October, November, because you get the beaches to yourself, you get the restaurants to yourself, and the weather is usually amazing. We get some of the most emerald green water that time of year. In closing, folks, those are just a few tips for you. I have many, many more tips as a local that lives right here on the Florida Gulf Coast that I'm going to be sharing on this channel. If you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. And if you're planning on moving to the Gulf Coast, anywhere here in the state of Florida, click the link in my first pinned comment so that we can connect. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can. And by clicking that link, you're going to receive all sorts of different types of information about the Florida Gulf Coast that you would not normally get on this YouTube channel.